Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dagny. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the things that I have ditched in quarantine. It's a pretty mixed up list and it's really dependent on the fact that we've been inside, and a lot of the activities that I do, I can't frankly do because a lot of it is social interaction through tango and through dancing, but just the everyday, day-to-day activities really just aren't the same. My list may look totally different from your list, and I would love to know in the comments below some things that you have ditched during quarantine. I'm saying quarantine in the very loose term of having been inside mostly for the past 6 months since March. I'm going in no particular order, but I'm going to first start off with my tango clothes. As I mentioned, tango is an incredibly important and essential part of my life. I am typically out and about traveling around to teach and to dance tango, and none of that could happen. So I guess the first thing on the list could be I've completely ditched traveling for obvious reasons, but really it's just all the accessories, the clothing, everything that goes along with dancing. I haven't had to use half of my wardrobe because so much of it is centered around dance clothing and going out, going to teach, or just going to social events. I have completely stopped wearing makeup unless I'm filming. I have not had to use lipstick in a very long time because who's seeing anything over the masks, under the masks, over the masks, through the masks? No one's seeing any lip products, so I feel really bad for people selling lipstick at this time, but eyeshadows must be doing very well. I also basically stopped wearing contacts. So that was another product that I've used really mostly for dance or for exercising, but I've really at home been completely using my glasses all of the time. The next one I'm very proud of is I've gotten rid of pretty much all of the unused clothes. I did several times clothing declutters for my closets, and it's very tempting to get rid of some stuff that I'm not using now, but I do have to remember that the world will go back to normal eventually, and don't throw out all of your dancing stuff because you're going to want that again and not just your comfy home clothes. But I have gotten rid of most of the clothes that I do not use. Something that I like to do is save some of the nicer pieces for clothing swaps with my girlfriends. We used to every few months get together and swap gently used clothing and home decor and just stuff that we really didn't want to throw out or donate and thought that one of our friends could get some good use out of. It was a wonderful way to not only interact with my really dear friends, but to prevent items from going into the landfill straight away. A lot of the items that we had were in such good condition, and it was a really nice way for us to refresh our wardrobes without going out to buy new clothing. And it was just a fun girls' day. We always had snacks and wine and lots of fun stuff. And so I've put away some things to save for a swap, but I've really gone through a few times my wardrobe, and I'm very happy about that. And speaking of clothing I should have gotten rid of, I'm going to expand that to just generally things I should have thrown out. I finally had the chutzpah to, we all have that pile of things that we just can't bring ourselves to throw out, but really just need to go into the trash. Finally got rid of that stuff, feeling much lighter, so happy I did it. Can't wait to continue to just lighten my life. And I was definitely always keeping my nails, and so my fingers and my toes always looked pristine. For me, part of my job is interacting with people, holding their hands when we dance, and I always like to keep my hands very neat, and obviously my feet are on display when I'm dancing, so always had a pedicure. But now that we're stuck inside, I just keep the nails short, unpolished, and neat. But I haven't, which is good, spent money on doing my nails, which can be quite a lot. I actually really enjoy doing SNS nail. It's a treatment that involves a dip powder, and so it really makes my nails indestructible, and I'm able to just go about my day. It's so strong that it just grows out. It really never chips. It's not gel, but it never chips, and so I'm able to go a few weeks with my nails until I need to remove them and redo them. So it was a pretty expensive process, but it lasted so long and it was so durable that to me it was worth it, since I am running around constantly. And speaking of running around constantly, I have ditched being an anxious, rushing, always fast-paced New Yorker, and it's been really a relief, I suppose. In that way, I haven't had to run for a train or run for a bus, or just barely make that transfer all of all of that is gone. The pace has really, really slowed down. And so it's been sort of a nice breath and a pause. Again, because we can't go out, I have unfortunately stopped most of my yoga classes. I used to do hot yoga at Moto Yoga. It's a beautiful studio downtown, but I have completely stopped doing yoga. I still stretch myself, but you know, the consistency of the hour-long practice and, you know, just scheduling myself in. Plus, this studio that I happen to go to is a hot yoga school, and so it's not Bikram, which is a very specific type of hot yoga, but they just had heated studios, and I absolutely loved. I think it was like, you know, in the low hundreds Fahrenheit, absolutely sweating out half of my body weight in water, and in the shower that you take, and you emerge as just a purged person. It's so good because you sweated out literally every last bit of toxin and extra water that you're holding on. You just feel so good, and I can stretch without feeling like I'm going to hurt myself because the heat, you know, really helps me get stretchy. But yeah, I've really missed having the consistency and having to show up for a class and that sort of, you know, scheduled structure, because I'm definitely slipping with, you know, keeping myself in shape. It's just not the same atmosphere, as we all know. I really haven't been using my watch at all, which is something that I would use going out, but now, like, what is time? Who is time? I don't need a watch now. This might be a little funny, but I actually got rid of my couch. Aside from the fact that we're not entertaining really at all, I didn't before the pandemic either. And I would sit on my couch so rarely that I would actually tell myself, wow, good job, you're actually sitting on your couch. That's how rarely I use my couch. And so it looked great in this space, but I finally realized, like, New York City apartment space is so precious. Why do I have this useless couch that I have people over, you know, twice a year sitting on it, but I use it just to dump clothes on? So I finally sold my couch on Craigslist to two really nice guys. Whew, not sketchy. So yeah, so now I don't have a couch, and I just love having space. I love having the open space in my living room, and I could just walk across and walk back, and it's just open. And I'm grateful for that, because space in New York is not a thing that we really have. So yeah, I'm planning on replacing that with a couple of cushions, so like beautiful floor cushions. And I have had, you know, some exploration, but I haven't settled on the actual pieces yet, so maybe I'll feature those sometime. And finally, I am most proud of the fact that I have completely ditched haircuts. I guess I can show you guys. I cut my hair now. I do it all on my own. I layer my hair. I found a YouTube video that I will link below of how to layer women's hair. And ever since I figured it out a couple of months ago, I've given myself about 2 cuts. I've cut my mom's hair, I've cut my sister's hair, I've cut my friend's hair outdoors. And so this is definitely a skill that I'm so glad that I have gained, and I will definitely be ditching haircuts forevermore, because now it finally looks how I want it to look. And it's really not as scary as I thought. The first time I did it, I went like more conservative with the layers because I wasn't sure about my actual skills, but I got it, just, you know, a pair of hair shears for like $6 on Amazon, something really cheap. And so now I can cut my hair, which is amazing. And I'm just so happy that I will always have the haircut that I want. I mean, I might go back to the salon. I'm not saying never going back, but for the near future, I will continue to cut my hair exactly how I want my hair cut, and not have to have communication issues with a hairdresser, and save so much money, which is fabulous too. So yay for new skills. So this is a brief list of all the things that I have ditched during quarantine. I'm sure there are probably more things that I couldn't think of right now to put onto this list. If there's anything interesting that you have stopped using during quarantine, be sure to leave that below. I'd love to have a discussion about some interesting used and unused items. So I hope you found that to be a fun video. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye.